Most folks remember him as a great foreign policy president, and he was. But beyond that, George Herbert Walker Bush passed more domestic legislation and more significant domestic legislation than any president since Lyndon Johnson or Franklin Roosevelt. It's amazing that a lot of people almost don't realize the breadth and depth of his domestic achievements, and that's one of the reasons I felt it would be good to put all of that in one place in The Quiet Man. If there are three or four things I'd like you to take away after reading the book, one of them would be the fact that he came into office after Ronald Reagan had rebuilt America's strength. Remember, the phrase was peace through strength, and Ronald Reagan made the exceptional investment to rebuild our military capacity. And although a lot of folks really are in a bit of denial on it, the fact is that the Soviet Union took one look at the economic capacity of the United States to build up its military capacity, and Gorbachev, coming into office, understood that there was absolutely no way they could compete, and that what he wanted to do was to begin to interact with the U.S. and our Western allies. Reagan built it up, and Bush understood the opportunity that the world had after nearly a half-century post-World War with two superpowers with tremendous nuclear capability. Bush understood the opportunity was there, and in his own style began to build the Western coalition that was necessary to take advantage of it, and a relationship of trust and cooperation that was necessary between the United States and the Soviet Union. The European allies were not as eager as George Bush to move quickly, but Bush, with a series of meetings, first with Mitterrand and then with Kohl and then with Thatcher, was able to convince them that the NATO allies should make a very significant step in terms of announcing a reduction of U.S. troops and armor in Europe, and invite by that act an equivalent reduction or even a greater reduction by the Soviet Union with their occupation forces in Eastern Europe, and it worked. Gorbachev welcomed the opportunity to reduce his fiscal obligations to occupation, and that began the loosening that allowed elections to take place in Poland and Czechoslovakia and the freeing of Eastern Europe. It was George Bush's amazing personal talents with both our allies and our foes that created the trust that is necessary for big powers, great powers, significant powers to make the kind of policy commitments that produce good results. In a matter of about 2.5 years, George Bush was able to lead a coalition interaction, a peaceful coalition interaction, that produced the dissolution of the number 2 superpower in the world without a single shot being fired. I personally think that his greatest mistake was making it look so easy. And I hope as you read the book, you will understand exactly what I mean when I say that.